Oh, this is harder
So
than
if you go right, go right.
See, I don't...
Go right, push right, or slide right. Hello folks, and welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator, and it's a very special day because my lovely wife, who's also cabin crew, would like to learn to fly on Microsoft Flight Simulator. So I said I would be very happy to show her the way. Of course, everything in this video is purely meant for home simulation use, so do just bear that in mind. Anyway, here's my lovely wife. Say hello.
Hello.
So you want to be able to sort of play around on Flight Simulator and have a bit of fun?
I think it'd be quite fun, so then I can fly myself to Walt Disney World and pretend I can go.
That's your favourite place.
It is.
Yeah, I do love that, and it does look amazing in this simulator as well. You've got a little bit of flying experience, haven't you?
I wouldn't call it... I've had a go in a couple of simulators, which I know people pay a lot of money for, but I wouldn't call that flight experience.
Yeah, so you had a go obviously in that in the Airbus sim.
I did, yeah.
So that people can have a look at that.
I'm very confused right this, so you just keep the little green bar.
Look out the window.
Oh, Jesus.
Just put it on the runway.
Thanks. I just remember the 30 bits.
30,
40, 30, 20, fuel input, 6,
And then you've also had about half an hour of flying.
Oh, I forgot about that. Is that really bad? I did. I had half an hour in a Piper something or other.
EA28.
Is that a Piper something or other?
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's right.
I did.
So we thought we'd have a little bit of a go, didn't we?
That was terrifying.
So we're going to break it down into little parts, and obviously I'm sure a lot of you guys will know a lot of this stuff already, but maybe you'll learn something as well. So without further ado, how about we have a little go? So we're back in the flight deck now, or the cockpit. So what we thought is Kelly could have a little go on the rudders just on the ground, so you know what it feels like taxiing around. So if you're ready to do that, if you take the parking brake off, do you remember what that was? I've set it up
Control
as.
full stop?
Yes. So if you press that, there you go, the parking brakes come off. So now if you've got your feet on the rudder pedals and then you put your hand on the throttle.
I've got clammy palms.
You'll be a natural. So if you just feed in a little bit of throttle, so you hear the engine rev up. So a bit more, a bit more, a bit more. That's it, we'll start moving forward, and then if you reduce it down and now use your feet to steer along the centre line of the runway.
Oh, this is harder
So
than
if you
what...
go right, go right.
See, I don't...
Go right, push right, or slide right.
We're going to do that again. This is the issue. It's. Oh.
So we're back here now, ready to go. So let's have a go at tracking that centre line again. So if we take the parking brake off first.
Oh, yeah, forgot about that.
And bit of throttle, like we did last time. There we go.
Better?
So that's it.
Right.
So you can go left and then right onto the centre line. So a bit right, push.
I am.
More, much more. That's it. There we go. So then if you close the throttle and then just get back onto the centre line. So right rudder and then left rudder to get back on again. Then if you use your toes to brake, you can bring it to a stop. Yeah, there we go. First box ticked. Amazing. Right, let's get up into the air and have a go at some of the fun stuff. Alrighty folks, so here we are up in the air ready to commence the flying lesson. So we're going to go through the effects of control, so what the aileron does, the elevator, rudder, trim, flaps, throttle, and just see what effect that has on the aeroplane. So are you ready?
Ready as there ever be.
Okay, so if you put your hand on the stick
Uh-huh.
and get ready. I'm going to disengage the autopilot.
Oh.
The first thing we're going to do is we're going to try rolling left and right, okay? So the autopilot's coming out now. So if you do a little gentle left turn, so just left input, see the wings starting to roll?
Yeah.
Okay, and stop. So go
Oh.
back to normal.
How do I do that?
And you see it sort of holds that. Now it will slowly level the wings again. But if we go right aileron, just a little bit, and then stop, and then left aileron again, and we'll try and get it the horizon straight and level.
Oh.
Okay, so a little bit more, little bit more, little bit more, little bit more, just to get the wings straight. That's great. There we go. So that's how those work. So guys, if you don't know, the ailerons, they're two little flaps on the end of each wing there. One goes
I'm
up, one goes
descending
down.
quite badly.
Don't worry about that. In
Okay.
fact, I have control. There we go. Yeah, they're on the end of the wings there. I'll pop a little clip in and they make the aeroplane roll basically. So next we'll have a look at the elevator, which is at the back of the aeroplane there on the horizontal stabilizer. Again, I'll pop a clip in of that now just so you know what we're talking about. And what the elevator does is make the aeroplane go up and down, so you'll get more height and less height. So you have control.
Because it went so well last time.
So if you push the nose down just a little bit, nice and gently, you see it goes down. So if you hold it there, so let go. And if you put it back, the nose comes up. You see on our altimeter there,
Yeah.
we start getting height. So go back to the normal. So if you push down again, let's see if we can get back to a point where we're not climbing or descending. It's about there. So a little bit up. So back up again. So hold it about there. Stop.
Let go.
Yeah. So what I'm going to show you now is quite an important concept. It's basically, it's called an attitude. So it's the position of the nose relative to the horizon. So you see the gap here between the horizon and the top of your cowling,
Yeah.
or your top of your flight instruments there. If you note, and a good rule of thumb is to use some fingers, how many fingers there are between your horizon and the top of the cowling,
Yeah.
you can see at 100 knots, it's about 2 fingers. So if you
Yeah.
put your fingers up against the screen there.
Well, that's going to move
Oh,
though,
yeah,
isn't it?
But you can see it's about that distance. If you go faster, that'll change, the slower that'll change. We'll have a look at that in a bit, okay, when we
Yeah.
get to throttle. But next I want to have a look at the rudder. So what I'm going to do is I'll keep control of the elevator and the ailerons, and then you can pop in some rudder. Now that's going to make the aeroplane yaw. So guys, it's the vertical stabilizer at the back of the aeroplane. There's a control surface that moves left and right, and it makes the aircraft nose yaw, which is effectively to make the aircraft nose point left or right. There's a little ball down in the left here, which is called a turn and slip indicator. As you put in rudder, you'll see that ball move, but we can talk about that in a bit more detail. So first of all, if you want to put in some left rudder, and we'll see what happens.
So slide my foot.
Left,
That
yeah.
way.
So push your left leg in.
Oh.
There you go. So you can see we start to yaw, and the secondary effect of yaw is roll, which is why it starts to roll.
I prefer turning this way. This is way easier.
And then if you put right rudder in, so it yaws and then it rolls. So if you take the rudder out, there you go, you can just see the nose just moving slightly there. So this time I want you to put in more left rudder. So try putting all the left rudder you possibly can. Ready? There you go, you see that nose yaw, and then it rolls. So take that rudder out now. There we go. And all the right rudder you can. There you go, see it yaws, and then secondary effect, it rolls. So take the rudder out, and we'll get back to straight and level. There we go. So that's rudder.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Is there a reason why you don't use the rudder to turn? Because it seems a lot easier. I'll be completely honest. It seems easier to use the rudder than it does the stick.
You use the rudder to help keep the turn balanced. So you remember I talked about the little ball there?
Yeah.
Now, as you're turning, it's called adverse aileron yaw, but in essence, when I talked about one of the, so if you're going left, for example, the right hand aileron would go down to make the right hand wing get more lift.
Yeah.
More lift means more drag, and that means that wing is effectively then travelling slower than the other wing.
Yeah.
So if you look at the little ball there, if I go for a sort of sharp left turn, you should see the little ball, see it moves to the left.
Yeah.
So that would be that adverse aileron yaw that I was talking about.
Yeah.
So in order to stop that from happening, you would need to put a little bit of right rudder in this instance. You see the balls going over to the right? To keep the turn coordinated. And that's what we use the rudder for, really. In a jet, we've got a thing called a yaw damper, and that takes care of that for us. In a jet, the only time you'd use the rudder is if you're coming in on a crosswind landing, and then the last sort of 20 foot, you'd use it to straighten the nose up with the sense line of the runway. So that's mostly what we use that for. Right, next I think if we have a look at the effects of the throttle and what happens if we take throttle off and put throttle on. So if you put your hand on the throttle and you give it full throttle, we'll see what happens. So the airspeed wants to increase and you see the airplane starts climbing?
Yeah.
So I've done nothing with the stick there, it just starts climbing by itself. So if you now go back to where we had it, so about a third off, and we go back to straight and level flight and 100 knots. So we're about there. Now if you take it all the way off, and I won't do anything with the stick, you see the nose wants to drop?
Yeah.
And the aeroplane starts descending. Now the speed's coming back, but because of where we've trimmed it, the airplane's actually going to try and find 100 knots. So in order to find that, it's actually diving down. Now you can see that dive has stopped, and it's actually the nose is starting to come back up again. And that's because the aeroplane is trying to find 100 knots. So it's kind of trimmed for speed, and that's sort of how trim works, which is what we'll get onto next. So if you give me that throttle back again to about 2/3 throttle, and we'll level off here at 2,000 feet.
I can't see, so I'm assuming that's
Yeah, a bit
about
more,
right.
a bit more than that.
There?
Yeah, that'll do.
Cool.
And then we'll talk about trim, which is what we were just mentioning there when we were seeing the effects of that as we were climbing and descending. So if you put your hand on the stick again, and you're happy that the trim is this little button at the top.
Yeah,
it's like the little hat switch, guys, is what I've got as the trim. So if you push that forward and don't do anything else with the stick, you'll see the nose wants to come down.
How many times do you want me to push it
Just
forward?
hold it.
Oh, hold it.
Yeah, just hold it. There you go.
Ooh.
Now let go. And then I have control. Right, so you'll see that was the trim going nose down. Right, let's get it back there. Let's see if we can trim this out again. Okay, so it's sort of trimmed out again now. Now if we just do a little bit of up trim this time, so
Well,
pull
I
in
was
the
gonna.
bit back to you. Just a little bit back.
Oh, back.
Yeah, so towards you, so nose up. That's it, now let go. And you'll see it starts to climb.
Yeah.
So that's the trim for the nose up. So how do we use the trim? Right, we're up at 2,000 feet. Now, it's hard to describe because obviously you can't sort of follow me through on the controls, and that would be the best way of teaching you this. But if we give it full throttle, and we want to stay at 2,000 foot, the speed's going to increase, but I'm going to have to put more and more nose down pressure on, and I don't want to keep that nose down pressure on the whole time. So in order to get rid of that, I would use the nose down trim to relieve that control force. So I'm now pushing the trim down. Now you see if we let go, it wants to go up still. So I have to put that nose down force in again, and then on the trim, that's a little bit too much. So eventually you find the happy medium where you trim it out and you can let go of the stick, and then the aeroplane will, as you see, my hand's more or less off. It's in a slight climb, but it's a lot better than it was. And trimming is so important to accurate flying. So there we go, like hands off, and the aeroplane more or less stays at 2,000 feet. Now if we take the throttle off, all the way off,
Oh, all the way.
yeah, all the way off initially, and we'll bring it back to say 70 knots. So we're going to maintain our height, and you see as the throttles come off and the speed's coming off, you see the nose that is wanting to come up, so that gap between the horizon and the top of the cowling there is getting less and less. So now if you give me that half throttle, a bit more, that'll do, right about there. So now you can see I've got a huge amount of back pressure on the stick. So if I want to get rid of that, then I put my trim in, and I'm trimming those up, and then if we let go of the stick there, so still need a little bit more, still need a little bit more, and now if I let go, it's more or less holding that. A very slight descent, but it's more or less holding it. And you can see how that angle changes between the cowling and the horizon. So now if you give me full throttle again, you'll see I'll need to push the nose down, and then there's going to be a bigger gap between the horizon and the cowling as the speed increases. That nose has to come further and further down. So you see, if it was about 2 fingers beforehand, it's now about 3 fingers, 3.5 fingers now as the speed gets up. And again, we've got that nose down force, so we trim it out until eventually we get rid of that force. We can let go of the stick and then fly accurately. So if you give me that 2/3 throttle again, what we're going to do now is I'll put you into some gentle turns, and then your aim is to try and get back to straight and level. Now when you turn, quite often you need a little bit of back pressure as well to maintain the level, but we won't worry about that initially. I'm going to put you in a turn, and then you just try to get back to straight and level flight. Okay? So I'm going to give you a gentle left turn, and you have control. So now if you get back to straight and level flight, so you need the wings to go back to the right, that's it.
Out there?
And then how are we doing on our altitude, you think? What's that needle doing on the altimeter? It's
That
just going
one?
down.
It's starting to
slightly.
descend, yeah.
So you just need a little bit as the speed's coming up, it's actually sorting itself out, which is what you'd expect because it's more or less in trim.
What do you want me to do?
So as it's coming up, just a little bit of nose down now, just gently, just to hold 2,000 feet. So that's a little bit too much. It was more or less there anyway, to be fair.
Help me?
So if you want to get back to 2,000 feet now, there we go, just hold that attitude there,
Well, I'm not doing anything with the stick, it's just...
and now push back down to your sort of 3-finger attitude and hold it there. So up again, back to your 3 fingers, that's about 4.
It's very sensitive.
About there, so that's about your 3-finger attitude, isn't it, between the horizon and the cowling? You see that's holding about 2,000 feet?
Yeah.
So that's
Well, no,
how it works.
I'm not looking.
So now you're about 3 fingers, so it's about 3.5 we wanted, so just push the nose back down again.
Oh, down.
Yeah, just gently. There you go. So now you're about 4.5 fingers, so you need to go back to 3.5 fingers. So back up again, and then hold it there.
I'm also turning, can I
So-
just add?
Now you need to level the wings. So you go left aileron, just level the wings. A little bit more left aileron, just to get that horizon nice and straight. There we go, and now we're straight and level. So, if I put you in a little right hand climbing turn, so right hand climbing turn, now I need you to get back straight and level. So you have control. So level the wings, and we'll maintain our altitude. So level the wings a bit more. You see we're descending. So back to your 3-finger attitude. And level the wings a bit more. Now you're about 2-finger. There we go. Simple as that. Eh?
turning.
Simple as that. Right, now this time what we'll do is if you take the throttle off,
All the way off.
yeah, all the way off, and I'll put you in a right hand turn. Right, now I want you to get back to straight and level flight from that.
Why do I feel like this is a test?
So level the wings, and we'll just pull the nose up slightly. Back to your 3-finger attitude while leveling the wings. Now you're going to need to start putting the throttle back on again, aren't you? So you need that 2/3 throttle again. So you see you've got about 5-finger attitude now.
Yeah, I can't do both things at once.
You'll learn. So how the wings look?
Almost straight.
Are we turning, do you think? There we go, that looks
no.
pretty good, doesn't it?
But I've got too many fingers.
So, yes, you do. See, you preempted what I was about to say. And there we go. And now we're back to straight and level flight again. Pretty good, eh?
Yeah.
Pretty good. So do you want to try one more?
Can do.
Alright, so give me full throttle.
I'm good at the throttle.
Right, so this time we're going to do a climbing left turn. So up we go. And I'm going to put you slightly out of trim as well.
Oh, brilliant.
So you're going to have to trim it.
Oh.
So let's go about there. Now go straight and level and trim it out.
So do I want to do straight and level first
Level the
before I
wings.
try and trim it?
Find your 3-finger attitude.
Oh, Jesus.
That's it. So find your 3-finger attitude.
How do I get my thumb
There
to
we
the
go.
trim lever?
Now the speed's increasing, so you want to bring your throttle back. So bring it back to your 2/3 position. That's it. And now find your 3-finger attitude.
Oh.
So you'll find you'll need to push. See, the nose wants to keep coming up.
Yeah.
So this is why we need to trim. So once you've found it, then use your.
I don't think I can
Thumb.
move my thumb.
Go, do you want me to help? There you go. So now you can just little clicks. Just one click at a time.
Down or up?
Down.
Oh, that's too
But
much
you need,
there.
that's it. You need
Yeah,
to
no.
you need to hold your 3-finger attitude to find it. That's it. So then just little clicks at a time, just little clicks, and then you can release the pressure just a little bit and see how it does. So you need more clicks. And you've got to be patient with it. So then try that. Okay, so you need more down clicks. No, that's up. Down clicks. So away from you. See? So if I let go at the moment, it's the nose is coming up. So you have control again?
So what? I was clicking it the wrong way.
Yeah, you were
I
trimming
asked that.
it. So
I
find your
said down
3-finger
or up.
attitude. So you need to be trimming it this way.
But that's up. That's not down.
That's the nose down. See, you're pushing. It's the same way you'd be pushing the stick. So find your 3-finger attitude and trim it out so we're nice and level.
Now I'm turning.
So how's that for trim? If we
Not
let go,
great.
is it going to go up?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not bad, but you need a bit more down trim. How's that?
Now I'm going left.
No, just be patient with it. That's pretty good for trim, isn't it?
Is it?
Need maybe a little bit more down.
look, it's
just
going
a
up.
little bit more down. But it's not bad. You're now more or less in trim. That's not bad. For a very first go, that's not bad at all.
Why is that now diving?
Because you probably put a little bit too much in.
It's very temperamental.
So now do you
Oh, that's
reckon?
gonna
So
hurt.
now do you think you could climb to 2,000 feet and maintain this heading at 2,000 feet? So you just need to climb 200 feet.
I don't know. I could try.
Yeah. So
Still
what do you think
be-
you need to do?
Well, I need some more speed, I assume.
You're only doing 200 feet. You've got
By
enough
that I meant
speed.
throttle.
You could put a little bit more throttle in, but 200 feet, I'd leave the throttle alone just for now. Just do a gentle climb. So pull the nose back up slightly, just gently. That'll do. That's fine.
Why am I turning?
So get the wings level again. Now you see you're coming up on 2,000 feet. So push the
Oh,
nose
that was quick.
down. Get your 3-finger attitude, and then hold that. Just hold that. And now, see, you'll let the speed will naturally increase again. Get the wings level.
Why does it keep wanting to turn?
It's probably to do with the P factor from the prop, potentially, but we won't talk about that today. So that's not bad, is it?
It's not 2,000 feet, but yeah.
It's not bad. It's within 100 feet.
What's 100 feet between friends?
That's pretty good going, I reckon, for your first lesson. Straight and level flight, effects of controls, you know how they all work. I reckon that is a good day's work, and we'll come back next time and we'll do some climbing and descending turns. How does that sound?
Yeah, great.
That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Well, guys, that's it for today. I think she deserves a round of applause. Yay! Nice job. Good going. So yeah, thank you very much for watching that. Don't know if you've learned anything from that. If you have, that's great. Let me know in the comment section down below, and we'll see you next time for some climbing and descending turns, and maybe even a takeoff. Well, you have to subscribe to find out. Do please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, and I'll see you next time. Ciao for now.